Hey guys, how's it going? So over the past 2 days I've been playing quite a bit of DayZ as well as doing some reading on some of the standalone's new mechanics. One of the biggest complaints I've seen across all of my reading is regarding the new hunger and thirst mechanics, and until a few hours ago I had to agree with them. The amount of food and water that we had to consume just to live seemed to be insanely high. I stumbled upon a post on the DayZ subreddit by Nauramir explaining the results of his tests with the new mechanics, and after testing them myself, it seems like his findings pretty much hit the nail on the head. Today I'll be explaining the gist of these new mechanics, as well as what you can do to stop dying of dehydration and thirst. Just like the DayZ mod, your character has hunger and thirst. Depending on how much you run, how much you're carrying, and how much time passes, your hunger and thirst will increase, eventually leading to death unless you eat and drink. In the DayZ mod, we had icons on our screen to tell us how hungry and thirsty we were. In the standalone, we get text notifications in the lower left-hand corner, as well as status indicators in the gear menu with the new update. The notifications themselves vary in context, and some of them can mean either thirst or hunger, but over time they become more and more drastic. Watch as I'm eating and drinking. There's a notification in green that says, "My hunger is satisfied," as well as, "My thirst is quenched." These are extremely misleading notifications, as you can still eat and drink quite a bit before getting a full stomach. You can tell these are misleading because as soon as it says that my thirst is quenched, another notification appears saying that I need a drink. Watch as I continue to eat. Eventually, a white notification appears that says, "My stomach feels completely full." This is what you really want. As Nauramir says in his post, it seems that most players seem to hover between 20 to 30% of their stomach capacity, so they're constantly spammed with messages and end up unconscious for no apparent reason. He also reports that once his stomach was full and his thirst completely quenched, he was able to run around for an hour and a half without any notifications popping up. I also tested this and found similar results, although it will depend entirely on how much you're carrying and how much you're running. In the old DayZ mod, you initially spawned with a full belly and a quenched thirst. This gave you plenty of time to scavenge for supplies, and you could spend upwards of a few hours running around Chernars without needing to stop for food and drink. Now, in the standalone, you spawn with a relatively empty stomach and feeling a little parched to say the least. This means that finding food and water is an extremely high priority when you first spawn, as you'll have barely an hour before you begin dying of dehydration and hunger. It's also worth keeping in mind that the more running around you do, the more energy you consume, and the hungrier or thirstier you'll be. This means that if you spawn a town or two away from Chernogorsk, you're better off scavenging for food in your local town before venturing into the big city. Otherwise, you might end up dead on arrival. In the DayZ mod, our overall health was determined by the amount of blood we had. You usually lost blood during combat with players and zombies, and regenerated it by eating and through blood transfusions. In the standalone, regenerating blood can still be done by a blood transfusion, but can only be indirectly regenerated by eating. You see, in the mod, a can of food or cooked meat added a certain amount of blood to your system instantly. In the standalone, you regenerate blood over time only when your stomach is full and your thirst has been completely quenched. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in seeing more content from the DayZ Standalone.